Hi, this one is on restrictions. So we've already done activity completion, and the whole point with the completion, part of it is um, to allow you to track those things that students have done so that you can either issue badges or have other things happen. And so one of the great things about using activity completion is to clean up your class. For instance, when a student comes into a normal class, if they were to come into the government and this class I've totally hid everything in this section, many of them were hidden, but if they come in here they've got all this information at one time to look at, and maybe they haven't looked at anything yet. So I've got this Declaration of Independence read set as a completed activity. In other words, all the student had to do is click on that to go to the YouTube video, and that activity is completed. Now we're assuming they're going to watch it, but they don't necessarily have to, but they've gone to that link. And I want them to go to that link before they see the file that's the Declaration of Independence here. So in order for me to do that, I'm going to use this activity to restrict this activity. So I'm going to turn editing on, and again, restrictions are based on other things happening. So I'm going to edit this item. Actually, I'm going to change the appearance so that it opens in a pop-up so that it doesn't leave Moodle when it happens. And I'm going to go and restrict the access. And I'm going to say add restriction on an activity. Now look, you can do it, restrictions on activity, dates, specific grades the student have in the course. So you can use it to do intervention activities where if a student has a specific grade, you can make it so that if they have a grade on a specific thing, or all the way down any of the items that are gradable on here, I can choose to be a grade. That's not the restriction I want to do on this one. You can do it on groups. In other words, if you make a group for your IEP students, you can say the IEP students see this, the non-IEP students see that, for instance, and you can make them look exactly the same. They don't even know they're clicking on a separate link or reading a separate article, that maybe use one of the many tools to make the article easier read for some students than in other students. You can do it based on things from the profile. You could say students that live in New Paris get one thing, and people that live in El Dorado get a different one, for instance, on the profile field. We're going to do it based on activity completion. So I'm going to say what activity has to be done. They have to have done that Declaration of Independence read. Has to be marked completed. And I also poke it in the eye, meaning that they don't even know this is there until the other thing happens. And I do that with all my stuff. So when a student comes into my class, into a new section of the class, they see nothing but the first thing that I want them to do. And when they do that, they see the next thing, maybe 2 or 3 things. Maybe there's 8 things that show up that they get to choose 3 from on a choice, but that's the way I do it. Do it so it's poked in the eye. And I can do the activity completion on this one while I'm here and say, hey, it's complete when the students viewed it. So they don't see it until they've seen the thing before. And as soon as they do this one's now complete too. So I'm going to save and return to course. So the way this looks, you can see now I have to do this one in order to see this one, and it says restricted, not available unless the Declaration of Independence is marked complete, hidden otherwise. And when I do that one, now I can have it affect this one down here, where I want the U.S. Constitution maybe to be the next thing they do. So now I can say down here, restrict access, add restriction for an activity, poke it in the eye. They have to have done the Declaration of Independence in order for this one to show up. And when it does, they have to have viewed this one before the next one shows up. So instead of students getting inundated with the entire class at one time, you can have things show up as they go. And you can do the opposite too. For instance, I know that teachers frequently hide things as students go. You can say as soon as they take this quiz, everything up here disappears if you want to. So restrictions allow us to choose a multiple myriad of things to make Moodle items appear or disappear during the course of the course, so that we're A, cleaning up the course for both ourselves and them, and B, we're gamifying the course by making those things happen automatically without any additional input. Obviously, we have that setup time to get it set up. I will point out, as you start to do restrictions, you start to see a mess, right? I see these things, and if I were to go to my class, I'm going to go ahead and pop to my class and show you what I mean. If I go to my hardware class and I pick a section in there, these are things I do in all the different parts of my hardware class. So as I go in here, you start to see it's just a mess, right? And I'm looking there and I'm like, I just want to look at the items that I have, and I want to take away all these things I see. There's a course view that you can go to, and you can go to click on your name and switch course view. You're not going to see all these, but one of them is clean course view. Now, if you pick that, look, all the restriction sets went away, and it looks just like it did before. All I've done is move those things out of the way so you don't see them when you're in clean course view. I use that frequency when I'm working on stuff. I'm like, I want to edit this one thing. Now I can go there, and because I'm in that view, it's a little cleaner for me. I have to obviously go back to my normal view to do all those things again. There we go. But I wanted to point that out as well. So that's restrictions, and I use restrictions if we go through my class for everything. You can see not available unless the class activity notebook is marked complete and they do not belong to the semester exam. So when I say we're doing the semester exam, I add them to that group and every section disappears automatically. I don't have to go and hide anything. When I'm in section 2 then, I don't know why it's moving so slow. There we go. So it's hidden unless the chapter 1 fight has been done, and as soon as they do chapter 1 fight, chapter 2 appears, and all they can see is the icons and the self-assessment. They have to read the icon to see the self-assessment, and once they see the self-assessment, they can do the chapter reading, and it goes on and on and on through the class where things just automatically appear, not just one at a time, sometimes several appear at one time, but it's all based on what they've done, what they've completed automatically in the class. And that's the restrictions that you can apply in Moodle that really, once you set them up, it cleans up your class for you and for them when they're doing the activities in the course.